adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Does this mean now that Bitcoin can be universally accepted as a currency?
There is a new vision for crypto, and it is wildly different from Bitcoin. It's strange to say, but after more than a decade of existence, there's now some agreement on what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is compared to digital gold by hardcore Bitcoiners as safe haven asset whose primary cause case in hoarding. Even those who aren't particularly fond of it tend to accept the storyline. We don't go a day without hearing some famous investor remark something along with the lines of, "We believe Bitcoin is an emerging store of value which, like gold, can play an important role in a diversified portfolio." If you want to know what it is all about and what's the latest version, then stay tuned till the end of the video and don't forget to share with your friends. Nobody even mentions how it isn't used in everyday transactions, or how it's either too slow or too volatile to be helpful as a medium of exchange. All of this is true, but these are all taking points. The hodler story has mostly triumphed. Of course, some scoff at the notion that something so turbulent could be deemed a safe haven. After all, it has had many 50% or greater drawdowns, the most recent of which was just a few weeks ago.
Currency innovation, there is actually a lot of stuff being built on it, Tyler, as you guys mentioned in the beginning.
On the other hand, you have to give credit where the credit is due. Despite having no backing, a roughly $1 trillion asset has been memed into existence. The truth is that nothing fundamentally underpins the value of Bitcoin other than certain people's conviction that network space is important. Bitcoin's value have been memed into existence as previously stated. People naturally think of Dogecoin when they think of memes in currencies. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is a meme coin. It's simply that one of the greatest memes out there is about digital gold. Bitcoin has a slew of ridiculous memes such as the magic internet money magician. Apart from being an excellent meme, Bitcoin and gold share a few other characteristics. It isn't used for much other than hodling. Yes, gold may be used to manufacture jewelry. It also has certain industrial qualities. However, the majority of people regard gold as a financial asset.
In the past, the narrative from the mainstream media has always been, hey, this thing's a scam. This thing is not going to make it.
There is no such thing as a Saudi Arabia of gold or Bitcoin. Both may be found almost anywhere on the planet. Both are energy-intensive and difficult to mine, unlike, say, oil, which has a remarkable abundance of access in a single location on Earth. While gold supply timetable isn't as rigid as Bitcoin's, the total amount of gold on the market is rather predictable, barring a gold meteor colliding with the Earth. Both Bitcoin and gold have enigmatic origins. Satoshi Nakamoto is the founder of Bitcoin, plus numerous other religious parallels. Because gold did not tarnish, the ancient regarded it as divine. You can agree or disagree on Bitcoin's haven qualities once more, but that's how an increasing number of people see and utilize it. Of course, disagreements have always been a feature of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. There have been several schisms between Bitcoin regarding where it should go and how it should be used. And of course, tens of thousands more coins have been launched over time, each with ostensibly distinct goals or objectives.
Bitcoin tourist, and there's a sense that many in the Bitcoin community.
The block size war, which raged from 2015 to 2017, was sparked by one faction desire to modify the code to make Bitcoin more of a spending currency. Without getting too technical, the network can only process a certain number of transactions per second at the base layer. By increasing the size of each Bitcoin block, several miners, exchanges, and other firms push to make a base layer transaction throughput faster and cheaper.
Threat is a threat to the traditional monetary system, and therefore they will step in to try and regulate it.
That seems harmless enough, but you want to be digital gold. Making major changes is perilous. Consider tinkering with gold's atomic structure to make it even shinier. That may appear to be the case, but is it truly the same gold that people have relied on for thousands of years? Adding greater capacity in particular was considered as a danger to the network's decentralization by many in the community. How does increased transaction capacity jeopardize decentralization? One of the community's key beliefs is that everyone, wherever on the planet, should be able to run a full Bitcoin node capable of downloading and monitoring the whole network. That way, anyone can independently check what's happening on, just as how many coins are in circulation. how many transactions have been made, and so on. This can be done right now on almost any low-cost PC. While this was a technical battle, there were also political undertones, with both sides suspecting that some people were aiming to control the network for their own ends. In the end, Bitcoin remained essentially untouched.
The world, over 100 million individuals, now all the way up to countries, say.
Some minor adjustments were made, but nothing drastic. Bitcoin's primary development philosophy is, in general, exceedingly conservative and resistant to modification. It's the polar antithesis of Silicon Valley's move fast, break stuff mentality. It's not about iteration indefinitely. If your only goal is to be gold, this is probably reasonable. Of course, some individuals are intrigued to Satoshi's breakthrough, which established the potential to create decentralized scarcity online for the first time, and want to do more than just create something to keep. Some people wish to use this technology in some way. Being truthful is understandable. Vitalik Buterin, who published the Ethereum white paper in 2013, argued that a blockchain could do so much more than simply be a money database with some tweaks, was one of the people who wanted to do something with this technology. Among other things, his idea featured a repository of identities about accomplishing today with DeFi, NFTs, DAOs, and other technologies, all of which we'll discuss later, was stated out very simply in that paper.
The idea out there of Bitcoin being used predominantly for nefarious activities.
And it's here that we get to a real schism in the crypto world, one that's leading to very different ideas about what all this technology is actually for. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum may be defined as the official currencies of two distinct digital tribes in some ways. Both cryptocurrencies are clearly owned by a large number of people, and what you're about to read is a broad statement. There is, however, something to it. Bitcoiners have a strong preference towards adversarial thinking. Nobody can be trusted. Did you purchase your Bitcoin on a cryptocurrency exchange? Remove it from there as soon as possible and move it to your own wallet to avoid any counterparty risk. Run your own node to keep a close eye on the network. The laser eyes joke has been popular among Bitcoiners on Twitter in recent months. It's Bitcoiners versus the world, as influencer Anthony Pompliano recently phrased it. Bitcoiners are wary of banks. They have deep aversion to central banks.
Let me get your final thought here, and I'll bring Brian back in as well. Anthony, you just mentioned something that's very key here.
Bitcoin purists argue that you should treat everyone as though they are a con artist. Satoshi's disappearance is critical to Bitcoin movement because if he were still alive, some people would trust his judgment. Bitcoiners consume a lot of meat as well. That has something to do with trust. It's merely a reality about the tribe. That isn't universal by any means, but it does exist. Ethereans are unique. This creator are still alive and well, and he wields considerable power. Vitalik Buterin's eyes aren't lasers. He has, however, been photographed wearing t-shirts with kittens on them on multiple occasions. He consumes a lot of coconut, dark chocolate, nuts, and avocados instead of meat. Uniswap is the largest decentralized crypto exchange on Ethereum, and it has a quirky unicorn-themed design. There will be no macho bro talk. Some Ethereans responded to Pom's tweeting regarding Bitcoiners versus the world, arguing that their aim is to be for the world, not against it. Everywhere you look, there's a different feel.